a dream that changed everything. In a distant land, under a sky filled with stars, a young boy lay in his bed, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. He had just woken up from a dream, one unlike any other, a dream so vivid, so powerful, that his heart still pounded in his chest. In the dream, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. What could it mean? Excited, he rushed to his father, a wise and noble man, a man who carried the weight of experience on his shoulders. "Father," the boy said, breathless, "I had the most incredible dream." And he described it. The stars, the sun, the moon, all bowing to him. His father listened carefully, his face thoughtful, but also concerned. "My son," he said gently, "this dream is not for everyone's ears. Do not tell your brothers about it." The boy blinked. "Why not?" His father sighed. "Because jealousy is a dangerous thing." Little did the boy know, these were his brothers, the ones he had grown up with, played with, laughed with. He couldn't see what his father saw. He couldn't see the jealousy brewing behind their eyes. At first, they only spoke in whispers. Why does father love him more? He thinks he's special. He acts like a prince among us. And then, the whispers turned into a plan. One day, when their father sent them out with the boy to tend the flocks, the opportunity presented itself. The moment he was alone with them, the moment there was no one around to save him, they struck. They grabbed him, forced him to the ground. And as he struggled, they ripped off his beautiful coat, the one their father had given him, the one that made him stand out. And then, they threw him into a deep, dark well. His screams echoed as he fell. Then silence. One brother, the kindest of them all, hesitated. "We shouldn't do this," he whispered. But the others were firm. "It's done." Now, all that was left was to cover it up. So they tore his coat, dipped it in animal blood, and ran home with a fake story. "Father," they cried, "a wolf took him." And the father, heartbroken, fell to his knees. His son, his beloved son, was gone. And yet, deep inside, he had a feeling that this was not the end. Back in the well, the boy was still alive, alone and scared. And then footsteps. A rope was lowered. Hands pulled him up. But these men were not rescuers. They were merchants. And to them, he wasn't a boy, he was a product. So, without hesitation, they dragged him to the market and sold him like an object. And just like that, the son of a noble father became a slave. Or so it seemed. Because fate had other plans. The man who bought him was a high-ranking official, a man of influence, a man with a powerful wife. At first, life wasn't so bad. The boy, now a young man, grew into wisdom, strength, and beauty. He became respected, trusted. But that trust was about to be tested, because the official's wife had been watching him. She saw the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, the way his presence lit up a room, and she wanted him badly. One day, when the house was empty, she locked the doors. She walked toward him slowly, her voice soft, tempting. "Come to me," she whispered. The young man's heart pounded. He was trapped, and in that moment he had two choices: give in or run. And so he ran, but as he bolted for the door, she grabbed his shirt from behind and it ripped. And when the doors flew open, there stood her husband. The scene was set. A young man out of breath, a ripped shirt, a furious wife. Guess who got blamed? For doing the right thing, he was thrown into prison. At this point, he could have lost hope, but he didn't, because even in prison, he was different. He listened, he advised, he interpreted dreams, and one day, his gift of interpreting dreams reached the ears of the king. The king had been having a nightmare, one he couldn't understand. 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 thin cows, and the only man who could explain it, the forgotten prisoner. When he spoke, the court fell silent. He revealed the prophecy: 7 years of prosperity, followed by 7 years of devastating famine. And the king? He believed him. And just like that, the boy who was thrown in a well became the second most powerful man in the land. And then, one day, his brothers came. They didn't recognize him. They were begging for food. He could have crushed them, made them suffer, but instead, he forgave them. Because now he understood. Every betrayal, every hardship, every loss had led him here, from the well to the throne, from slavery to power. And so he looked at them, smiled, and simply said, "What you meant for harm was actually the greatest blessing of my life." The moral of the story: sometimes life breaks you. Sometimes people betray you. Sometimes you lose everything, even when you've done everything right. But that does not mean you are lost, because what feels like rejection is often redirection. And the moment you think it's over might just be the moment your true destiny begins.
Trust the unseen wisdom, and above all, have patience. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories with powerful lessons.